Hello and welcome to Die Rollin. I'm the ever excitable Adam.
I'm the ever traitorous Will.
And I am the eternally intolerable Alex. Hello.
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 So today we're here to talk about two games that we played. Cluedo Super Sleuth and... I was going to swear at you then.
Awkward guest.
Awkward guests. So this is a bit of a comparison review. It's a bit off the cuff. And there's three of us trying to cram out on one camera, which is always fun. So guys, I'm going to ask you one thing you really enjoyed about Awkward Guests and one thing you didn't like about Awkward Guests. Starting with you, Will.
So what I really enjoyed about Awkward Guests was how close to probably a proper detective murder mystery that you could probably get. So you've got all the clues and the paths and you have to figure out where the detective's been, find out alibis. You've got...
Where have the detectives been?
Not detectives, the criminals been. And find out their path so you can figure out what weapons and whether alibis were true or not. And I can see this being replayable over and over again with multiple people because of all the different scenarios and combinations that they have available.
What didn't you like?
What I didn't like was the fact that I was... the fact you couldn't piece 100% of everything together right at once. You're sort of left with hodgepodge. So you sort of have like a very... You're not given a clear-cut image right before the end. You sort of have to give that guess right at the end before anyone else to try and at least get a chance of, I think, winning the game. If you wait too long, you might miss your chance because people might have had those significant clues that you may not have got.
Very true. Okay, and Alex, same question to you. What you didn't like and what you did like?
One of the things I did like, I love the strategy of it. I love the fact that it was kind of like a half strategy game, and it got to play a little bit by chance as well. And it's, as you said, you had to find out who was bluffing, who was telling the truth. There was a certain level of strategy to it. What I didn't like, I found it quite confusing at first. I found things to mark off on the cards. Like the actual cards would tell you like where to write the clues down and stuff, but there was somewhere I was a little bit confused as to what to do because it didn't have that guide. First time I played it, it took me a little while to sort of go, hang on, to understand it basically. But that's not new for me. But I just it was a great game, really enjoyed it, but I just felt it took a little bit of time to get used to.
Okay, and what did you really like about it?
Well, I told you what I really liked about it.
What?
The strategy part.
You already did. I kind of glazed over that, clearly. Yeah. I'm just standing here nodding and smiling.
Yeah. Must be the admiration of my hat.
That's it. Well, the two things thanks for asking, guys.
I was just about to.
Sure you were. So the one thing I really dislike about this game is the setup. It takes a while to set this game up because you've got to find out all the card numbers, all the different things. And I even had to double check with Alex. During it, I'd missed 2 cards during the actual setup. And you were getting to read them out and stuff. So that could have been a disaster. So that's what I don't like about this game. What I really enjoy about this game, though, is I feel like it's very thematic. It's quite interesting mechanics in there, and it's a really nice theme. So the thematics of it, really, it's very good. Overall, I think it's a very well-polished, put-together piece of puzzle. Yeah. So that's Awkward Guess, which is one thing. And let's talk about Cluedo Super Sleuth. And we're going to start with you, Alex, because this is the game from your childhood that you really enjoyed. So, rose-tinted spectacles maybe on, or maybe half askew here. What did you really enjoy, and what didn't you enjoy about this game?
I love the dungeon crawler element. Obviously you've got the tiles, and each time you play the game, it's a different setup. And I still really enjoy that element of it. There's a few things that they should have had on it with like traditional Cluedo. If you're at the corners, there's like a secret passageway that links the corners. This game did not have that, unfortunately. But apart from that, I enjoyed that setup. What I didn't like about it, it really was not as fun as I remember it to be. I do think the item cards were pretty pointless. There was no real use to them. I don't think I'm the only one to think this. No. And I just felt it was quite unfair as well. I mean, I know I messed up a little bit with not giving the 2 clue cards to each player, but
right in the very end.
Even still, I mean, if there's 4 players, you don't start with clues at all. It's very kind of luck based whether you get the clues, and I had some very bad rolls. So by the end of the game, I thought there's just no way I can. I took a stab at it, no pun intended, but I failed. Yeah. So, I think you loved, think you hated. And the same goes to you.
Oh, cheers, Alex. But what didn't you like about it? You didn't. I'm just joking. So what I didn't enjoy with this game was the fact it's a roll to move where you just didn't like the board's so vast. You can get to a position where you can't get to clues, and I found the 3 of us, I didn't have the clues. So I mean, you don't have to have the clues, but it's nice to be able to start crossing stuff off. But having to be in the room that you want to guess, and then having to rule out the different rooms. that's quite tricky. And if they have the secret passageway, then that would speed that up. But
Yeah.
obviously, they can't do that when the board is like is tiled like that, because it's you're laying the tiles out, because you could have the secret passage rooms right next to each other, and then it'd kind of be pointless. They did have an event card where you could go through, or an item card that might have helped.
Or it's something put down on the board. And...
But when you've got the full grid, they could have had a thing where you automatically lay the two. Do you see what I mean? Like when you once completed the entire board, you see what I mean?
Maybe you could house rule that. What did I enjoy about this game? Cluedo. It's great. Yeah, it's fun Cluedo. It was more interesting than regular Cluedo in some ways, but frustrating in others. And yeah, I also played this in my teens, I think, and I remember enjoying it a lot more back then. I played a lot more games since, so I don't I had fun playing with you guys, but
by the end of it,
I was like, why is the inspector on the board? What's he doing?
Yeah.
He didn't come out.
Yeah, the purpose of the inspector, Hogarth, the butler, and the black dog
They
are
have
purely
fun.
just to get in the way. That's their whole sole purpose. So they didn't do anything.
Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
They didn't do it. They didn't.
You hear me? Fuck those guys. Speaking about fucking guys. Well, what did you enjoy about it? What didn't you enjoy about it?
I enjoyed hoarding all the clues so that you couldn't solve the mystery.
He still failed. He still failed.
I was a room off. One room
One
off.
room off, yeah.
One room off.
I was one goal away from winning.
It took Adam like 20 odd rolls afterwards to figure it out anyway. So we both
Furiously
had
eating food, walking around the manor.
Yeah, but this thing, he could leisurely solve it because his two contenders were at the game.
Yeah.
That's on you, pal.
Not on me, because I'm
I
first.
had a disadvantage. You could have done this. You had it in the
And I
bag.
still could have lost because I was doing guesswork
Yes, yeah.
when we actually had all the cards out.
Yeah.
So that was something you...
Yeah, so that I enjoyed collecting all the clues and holding them.
Okay.
But no, I enjoyed also the exploring mechanic of going around the different rooms, and I thought that was quite interesting mechanic of having that. So every time you play, it's a bit different. Obviously, what I didn't like was I don't think the other characters had any purpose. They didn't really feel like any
Like we
presence
said,
on the
they're
board.
just-
They're just
The inspector didn't even
they're
come
just
out.
nice decorative pieces that just sat in the entranceway.
looked great as well.
We're meant to be the murder suspects, yet we're solving the case, and he's just sat at the entrance doing nothing.
He's just sitting inside the entrance, just chilling, with his...
He's making sure no one leaves.
Is he though?
That's it.
Is he
You
though?
solve your own murder, guys. It's gonna be here.
Also, there was one thing that we did notice. The three of the rooms weren't even on the on the list. On the...
So the next room
That
is
was
guesses.
hilarious.
We're like, hang on, the cellar. Where's that?
Yeah,
Oh.
I was in the drawing room going, in the drawing room, and everyone's like, oh no, we don't have that card. Then I was like, but wait, it's not on any of the lists. What? So yeah, that was a bit weird. So I guess overall we enjoyed playing both these games this evening. If you were going to play one of these games again with a group of people, and before I continue that sentence, I would just like to put back to Cluedo Super Sleuth. I think if that was playing with a larger player count, it might be different. Like if you had 6 players playing that, that could have changed things up a little bit. More events coming out, more items being
It's
used.
certainly quicker, faster paced.
Yeah. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So basically, if you had to choose one of these games to play again, and the other one to incinerate, which would you incinerate and which one? I say incinerate, I mean dispose responsibly. Don't get at me for that. What would you dispose responsibly, and what would you play again and again with your family or friends?
I would play again Awkward Guests and incinerate Cluedo.
Dispose
Incinerate.
responsibly.
Okay, dispose responsibly.
Cluedo Super Sleuth.
Cluedo Super Sleuth, yeah.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Alex, same question to you.
I'd have to answer, I would play Awkward Guest, and I'd tell people that I incinerated Cluedo Super Sleuth, but really I've incinerated something else. I've kept the Cluedo Super Sleuth in my pillow, and every now and then I play it by myself and I cry myself to sleep.
Perfect. And so for me, I'm afraid it's play Awkward Guests, and I would climb into Alex's bedroom at night, find his box of Cluedo Super Sleuth, take it out, replace it with another board game, which he'd much prefer playing, Skeptics, for instance, and I would incinerate responsibly his copy of Cluedo Super Sleuth.
And I would make a guess that it was Adam with the incinerator in the ballroom.
Indeed, I do have a ballroom in my house. So overall, I think we like Cluedo Super Sleuth from me, we'll all have a little kind of like sign off here saying what we thought. Cluedo Super Sleuth for me does not stand the test of time. It's something that it was enjoyable back then. I feel there are other games out now which would be more fun to play. I would not rule out playing Cluedo Super Sleuth if I was at a board game cafe and I saw it there. I had my kids with me. I was like, do you know what? It's a simple enough game to teach children. There's only 3 pages in there. It's not as confusing as Awkward Guests. So yeah, I would play that game. But it's, I feel personally it's quite dated. I don't feel it has a place on a modern board game shelf unless you're a collector or enjoyed that style of game. Alex, you got something to...
I was going to add to that. I don't think that version has stood the test of time, but I do think I like the format, and I think with some updates, it could work.
I agree with you there. I do mean Cluedo...
In its current form, Super Sleuth...
I do mean Cluedo Super Sleuth. I'm not saying Cluedo as a whole.
Oh, no. I'm referring to the Super Sleuth.
That edition, the 1995
It's just it kind of felt like they just needed to test play it. I kind of felt it wasn't really test played at the time.
Play tested.
Yeah.
Okay, so your general thoughts, sign off, or is that it?
That's it.
Anything to say about Awkward Guests?
Yeah, it's a great game. I did not know about Awkward Guests. I was completely oblivious to its existence. Now I know it exists. I'm very, very happy, and I'm looking forward to playing many more of the 3,000 plus variations.
300,000 or something. It's crazy amount of variations.
And I'll get through as many of those as I can in the next few days.
A detective
and you'll learn all the cards. And Will?
I really liked Awkward Guests. I think a lot of my family and playgroup would really enjoy playing this kind of game, and it's like one of those ones that can be pulled out and played quite quickly with a bigger group, because you get more cards available to see and play with it once. So I think they would be a good one to play. And again, as you guys said, it hasn't stood the test of time. The Cluedo game, it's still got a lot of older mechanics in there. Feels very, very luck based a lot of the time with it, and what's going to happen with it. I think that's the main part of it, mostly with a luck based with the tiniest bit of like, have you got that card? Does it work?
And the answer's always no.
But the answer's always no.
We can either confirm or deny.
But yeah, it's a game I would play again if it was available. But it wouldn't. If between the two, I'd be picking up Awkward Guests over and over again
and sneering
over
at
those
Cluedo
over those 300,000 times that we picked up.
And just remember that when you get that Awkward Guest, just you think, I beat you, and you, yeah.
So thank you for spending some time as we just waffle on at you guys about these 2 particular games. We're going to do more things like this in the future where we pick 2 games, we play both the games and compare them, and it's really interesting. Thank you, Alex, for bringing on Cluedo Super Sleuth, finding a copy of that, because it's great trying to play an older game and seeing how it plays against more modern equivalents, and if it does stand the test of time, if there's a place for both of them on the table, or if one of them rules supreme. So anyway, I've been the ever excitable Adam.
I've been the ever traitor as well.
And I've been the eternally intolerable Alex. Goodbye.
And if you have any comments you'd like to add in here, if you really enjoy Cluedo Super Sleuth, you play it every weekend and you like what these guys are on about, leave comments below. If you love Awkward Guests and you want to see more of this, then leave comments below. And where can they find us, Alex?
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter.
Yeah, they were our 5.
And Twitter.
On Twitter as well.
And Twitter.
Actually, there are actually 2 Instagrams. So there are 2 Instagrams on there. You can also find all of us on Instagram as well. So please feel free to message us on there. And signing us off, Will.
And most importantly, guys, make sure you all
stay safe or
die rolling.
Die rolling. Yeah.